So, welcome to the lesson. This is a lesson I've prepared and used with both a Tai Chi and aikido community in a class. And, when we're in those arts, both aikido and Tai Chi, there's a lot of work that happens in our ankles, in our knees, in our hip joints. And we're often standing or running or moving kind of in a squatting position, in a small bit of a squatting position. And so I really like this lesson to help focus on the functional movement in our ankles as we flex them, how we're moving our legs over our in our hip joint, and how that movement and that base of support connects to our spine, our head, and our shoulders. And in the Feldenkrais method, it's really learning how to reconnect to our natural ability to learn, to feel, to sense, and to move. And it uses unfamiliar, unhabituated movement to build new brain and body connections. So before doing this lesson, if you are coming with an Aikido background, you may want to do just a few moments of a basic movement. So the rowing movement where you're standing in a hamni position, one foot ahead of the other, and shifting your weight back and forth with a rowing motion. Another way you could begin this lesson is to do a basic 90-degree tenkan step where you're, irimi tenkan to step offline and back again. Both of these basic movements put this moving squat position into action. But if you're accessing this lesson and not coming from an Aikido background, you can stand with your feet parallel and just start to slowly lower your pelvis a few inches and then rise again. So you're making a small squat. And notice the order of how your joints bend, the order of your ankles, your knees, the flexing in your hip. And notice the timing of it, and also notice the level of work that you encounter as you maintain your balance and begin the squatting motion and then coming back up to standing. So it is a lesson that I'm going to ask you to do lying on your side. So take a moment to find a comfortable place on the floor to lie. You may want to have some kind of support under your head. If it's possible for you, please lie on your right side and bend your legs a bit. And just take a moment to ensure that you're lying comfortably. So check if there's any kinds of ways you want to support yourself, maybe making sure your top knee is comfortably on top of your bottom knee. And once you're settled, focus on moving your left top hip joint backward. It's a gentle, slow movement. So as if you had a tail extending from your tailbone, you're wanting to bring your left hip joint and tail backward behind you and then bring it forward. So don't focus on moving your leg, just the hip joint, and do this movement gently, slowly, and clearly. So bringing that tailbone, that left hip joint backward a little and then forward a little. Once you have a sense of this movement, make the movement a little faster. But again, pay attention just to moving your hip joint. How might it be possible for you to do this movement more simply, more easily, and smaller? If you find yourself moving faster and harder, please pause and begin the movement again with the intention to make small, easy, simple movements. And then leave it alone, lie on your back and rest. Returning to your right side, and again, bending your legs, making sure that your head and your neck are comfortably either on the floor, on your arm underneath you, or on some kind of pillow. And then as you lay on your right side with your right cheek towards the floor, gently and slowly move your left shoulder forward together with your jaw and your chin. So try to move your left shoulder, your jaw, and your chin together as one movement, a little bit forward and then back to where you started. The movement really doesn't need to be big, so you're not rolling over your head and you're not moving your whole head, just your jaw and your chin forward. You might notice a small arch forming in your neck as you move your jaw and chin forward, but your goal is in one movement, move your left shoulder, your jaw, and your chin together gently. And just notice the feeling of moving this all together. Go slowly enough that you can feel this movement clearly. And when you have a sense of the movement, make it a little faster, but focus on making the movement simpler and easier. So if faster means tightening up or making it harder, then go back to moving more slowly. Let your jaw and chin rest, but continue to move just your left shoulder forward and back. So you're not rotating your arm in the shoulder joint, you're just bringing your shoulder forward and back, like you are touching the front of your shoulder onto a surface just in front of you. Make the movement a little faster and easier. And if you really go fast, you may notice that your jaw and chin do move a little, whether you want them to or not. Now leave your shoulder in its starting position, leave it quiet, and just move your jaw forward. Don't move your head forward and backward, just your jaw. You're moving your jaw forward. Try not to lift your head. Leave it resting on the supports underneath it, and focus your attention on moving your jaw forward and returning. And then make the movement a little faster. Again, keeping the movement simple and easy. Particularly with the jaw, if you find your jaw is getting tense, if the work's getting difficult, go back to moving slower and with ease. And then pause, and now move your jaw and chin together with your shoulder. So you're moving them forward together. Move your left shoulder, your jaw, and your chin together in easy, simple movements. And then bring them back together. And you may notice a sense, if you expand your awareness, that as you bring your shoulder and your jaw and your chin forward, you may have a sense of your hip joint moving backward. And so bring these movements together. Consciously move your left hip joint backward and your chin forward. Notice what's moving through your back on your left side. Focus on your hip joint moving backward, moving your tail behind you and backward. And then leave this alone. Let go of the mental focus. Lie on your back and rest. When you are ready, return to your right side, again with a slight bend of your knees. And notice your contact with the floor now. This time, pay attention to your left foot. Bend your left foot, moving your toes closer to your face, and return. So don't move your leg, just your foot, having your toes move toward and away from your face. Focus on moving clearly. Move slowly enough that you can sense fully what you're doing. And then make this movement a little faster. And then just pause, let go of the movement, and just listen to instructions before moving. So bend your left foot in the same way you were just doing, but as you bend in your ankle, you bring your toes towards your head, you're going to bend your lower left leg towards your behind. So you're flexing at your ankle and you're flexing at your knee. Allow yourself to explore this as an easy movement. So try to avoid putting strong effort, strong force into your movement. See if you can bring together the timing that as you flex your left foot, you're also bringing your left lower leg to your behind. And so focus on trying to synchronize these two movements together, flexing your left foot and bringing your lower left leg towards your behind. So adding to these two movements, now try to protrude your left hip joint backward at the same time as you bend your foot and move your lower leg. So you'll notice your left knee will move a little as you move your left hip joint backward. Really avoid the temptation to move with more power or force, but focus on the precision of making an easeful, slow movement and the precision of moving everything together. And allow yourself some time simply to explore how pristine you can make this coordination. But once you have a sense of this movement, make it a little faster, but keep the same easy quality. If you find yourself adding force, go back to moving slowly and more easily. So you're bending your foot, your toes towards your face, you're moving your lower left leg backward towards your behind, and you're moving your left hip joint backward, all at the same time. And as you do these movements together, gently protrude your chin forward. And you may find that your whole back moves as you make this movement. So you're flexing in your knee, in your ankle, you're moving your left hip joint back, and you're protruding your chin forward. And notice as you bring these four distinct focuses together, can this become as one movement? Something that you can move simply, easily, and quickly. Something that you can move a little faster. You may want to keep the movements small so you can do them lightly and quickly. This is a movement that's intended to help you learn what to do, not to do as exercise. And then leave this alone, lie on your back and rest. Pay attention to what you feel lying on your back, what you feel on your right side and on your left side, and notice what feels differently. In your own time, stand up. I purposely set up this lesson to only do it on one side as a way to highlight the difference in what kind of coordination your body has come into through the lesson. And so you can walk a little bit, notice how it feels differently to place your weight into your right foot versus your left foot. Resist the temptation to stretch and just allow yourself to notice the difference in what you're feeling. And then come back into the movement we started with. So if it was a rowing exercise, so one foot ahead of the other, shifting your weight back and forth and rowing with your hands, or if it was an irmi tenkan, to do some, stepping offline and tenkanning and seeing how this coordination changes your experience of this way we move ourselves upright through our spine, but in a kind of running squat, or just standing with your feet parallel and then letting your pelvis descend, bending through your hips, your knees, and your ankles, and just noticing how it feels on one side compared to the other. Thank you for joining me for this lesson.